All right, this is Professor Denholtz. Now we're going to be looking at Lab 2, Problem 2. So that's this shape over here. I think we're gonna mostly be able to do one at a time, but we're gonna have to finish some parts by doing it in parallel, where we're looking at the top view and the front view simultaneously. But first thing we're gonna do what I talked about. We're gonna open our template. And so now we have all the layer information in there already built in that we made before. And I'm going to do a file, save as. I'm going to give it a brand new name. And so it's problem 2 of lab 2. So we're going to call this Professor Denholtz underscore lab 2 underscore problem 2. And it's saved as a DWG. So now we're going to get started here. All right, so let's take a look. I can either start with the lower one or the top one. I'm inclined to think that I'm probably going to do them somewhat concurrently, but I think I'm going to start with the top. And this is not the way that it has to be done. There's always multiple ways to do a drawing, and I certainly want you to find your own way. But I'm going to start here. And what I notice is that this is 5.75 from here to here. And then there's this arc. And this arc actually tells us this vertical distance. Because look at this. The radius of this arc is 1.5. And so if the radius of this arc is 1.5, recall the radius is the distance from the arc to the center, which is over here. Now this distance is constant no matter what point you are along the line. The distance from here to here is still 1.5, just like the distance from this point to this point is 1.5. Now that also means that the distance from this point to here is 1.5. So the diameter, which is 2 times the radius, so the diameter is 2 times 1.5 is equal to 3. That means that from here to here, it's 3. So the rectangle that goes from here to here to here is 3 by 5.75. So we can start making that general shape. And so I'm actually gonna start at this corner and go around just to get started. So I'll start right over here. So I'm still in well, let me put it back in ortho mode. So I want to go over by 5.75, and I want to go up by 3, and then I want to go to the left by 5.75. And let's zoom in. So this is the starting shape that we have over here. And then we know that there's an arc that's going to be connecting these. So I very rarely ever use the 3-point arc. We have a start point and we have an end point. We can also find a center point pretty easily. I can make a construction line for that. So let's do that. Let's switch over to construction. I'm going to draw this line. And for the arc, we can use the start, center, and end, or center, start, end. Actually, yeah, we could use start, center, end. Because this is our starting point, the midpoint is going to be the center, and the end point is going to be over here. Now, when you're doing something like start, center, end, they tend to go in the counterclockwise direction. That's just conventions from math. Everything is considered positive if it's counterclockwise. And so if I want to draw it, I need to start up here. But actually, I don't want to be in my construction layer. So actually, I'll just delete that. Switch back to solid. All right, so let's do that again. Now, I would note you might at some point say, well, why can't I make this the start and this the end? In that case, it's going to be going clockwise, and it would come out in this way. So counterclockwise is the direction that it goes because that's what's considered positive. And So that's what we're going to use over here. So I'm going to go counterclockwise. I'm going to start here. I'm going to be centered over here, and then I'm going to end over here. All right, so now we have a good starting point. I think I'd pretty easily be able to get both these circles in. This hidden line isn't going to be as easy. This edge, I don't know where that is yet, and this edge, I don't know where that is yet. Although it could be calculated with construction lines, I'd rather use projection lines because it's faster. And actually, I noticed that there is a center line actually going through this. So rather than a construction line, I can actually probably just make a center line. Let's see if it's easy to snap to before I decide I'm going to do that. So let's. Okay, all right, so let's draw a center line going through this. They actually don't have their center line going through the whole thing, but it does mean the same thing because you can see that the center line is over here. It's saying that the center line does go throughout it. So you could draw the whole length or you could just draw part of it. It doesn't really make a big difference. So about here we have a circle with a diameter of 1.25, and that should be a solid line. So let's switch back to solid and circle, and so that's going to be with a diameter of 1.25. And then if I make a construction line going over by 2, that'll have the center of the other circle. So 2, and where that ended, that should be this circle, which is also 1.25. Oops, don't want that to be on the construction layer. We want that to be on the solid layer. And so 1.25. And let's see, I guess I could add in center marks on each of these. And I don't think there's anything else that I could do right now on the top. Now I think we need to pivot down to the front view. So, all right, I'll draw in a fold line. So let's have a fold line over here. So I'm going to make it a little bit closer just because my screen's kind of small. And let's start drawing some projection lines. So let's go over to projection, and let's just draw a handful of these lines. So they don't have to be any exact length in particular. They just need to be long enough. Again, they're all going to be hidden. And then I probably want to get them on the intersections of the ends of the circle. Do it for the other circle. All right, so this is pretty good for construction lines. I don't know if we're going to be needing any more. All right, well, if we do need more, we can always make more, but I think that's everything that we need. So now let's go back to our solid line. And I'm going to start in this corner. I'm going to go down by the 2.3, go over by the 0.95, and then the 2.25, and then the 0.95. And then I'm going to have to do some math here to see how far I go up. And then I'm going to go to my projection line. and go up by the 0.75, and we're going to go back to where this corner was, so I'm lined up with that. Then over by another 0.95, and then do some math again to see how far down I have to go. Go over by the 2 point, yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, I'll start from this corner, and I should be able to get there pretty easily. And so I'll choose, this is my starting point. We're going to go down by 2.3. And then we're going to be going to the left. Where's my line? Oh, sorry. Sometimes ortho mode makes it get a little bit almost jumpy, I guess you'd say. So we're going to go to the left by 0.95. Then we're going to go to the left again by 2.25. And then to the left again by 0.95. And now we're going to go up. We have to figure out how much we're going to go up by, because we know that the total length is 2.3, and we want to go up from here to 2.3 minus 0.75. And so I'm just going to use the